Hello, today you will be using Publisher to be making your lab report for the lab that you and your classmates are designing, you and two other classmates. You should have begun this lab question, hypothesis, and design template yesterday in class, and if you typed any of that information on Google Drive, feel free to copy and paste it into your document today. Today's lesson has two purposes. One, to learn how to use Publisher efficiently. Two, to understand the value and importance of making a lab report look and read well so other people can recreate. So when you open up Publisher 2013, you'll have a whole lot of templates you can choose from, and feel free to scroll down and choose whichever template you like best. I'm going to go ahead and choose the business newsletter. Say create. Once you've said create, it will open up the file for you. Now obviously I am not going to keep these pictures or these words, but now font has already been chosen for me and other things. And so it saves me time that way. Can I revise it later? Of course I can. Things that I might revise right away are, I don't want a logo. That's wasted space on my lab report. So I can just go ahead and remove that, and I can even move everything up if I want. That's up to you. And so if I were you, I would make sure that you title your lab report accordingly, something that obviously indicates what your lab is all about. So you might have Matter Lab, something along those lines, okay? Here would be a great spot then to put your name. So created by, and you could put your name, Mrs. Mick. And here is a great spot to put the date. Today is not just May 2016, but today is May 8th, 2016. Okay, now where it says advantages of a newsletter, right away you could include an observation that then leads to your question. Now if you are a person who's like, great, I want that, but I want my question to be as big as my observation. Okay, I agree with you there. So you could copy this information, and what's even wonderful about Publisher is it's so easy to insert things like text boxes. So you can then just come here and say draw a text box, and I want it in this gap that I've now created of space, okay? And so I'll make my gap there, I'll press Control Paste, and you'll be saying, Ms. Mick, that doesn't work, it doesn't fit. That's okay, I'll click on my space that I do have, make it go up as high as I can, and extend my text box as big as I can, because it turns out my observation's probably not super long anyhow. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to put my title of observation in, and then I'm going to highlight all of those other words, and I'll make my observation. My observation example that I gave you was, sometimes solutions that are made need to be separated into unique compounds and elements again. So I'll put that in there. Now, those of you who are saying, oh, this is all great, Ms. Mick, but I can't see it, that's okay. View is where you go to improve what you view, what you see, and you can zoom into a certain percentage that works for you. 75% does make it a lot easier to read. After my observation section, I should definitely have my question section. So I'm going to make my question and put down what specifically my question was that relates to that observation. And again, my specific question was, can solutions be separated by physical means? Testable question that I can use. Okay. Directly below that, that's where I need the information before I can make a hypothesis, which is called background information. Okay? There's no way you can make an educated hypothesis without background information or research. I like this spot because you can then easily fill in these words with bullet points of information that you know. So, when you're home, you can just click on bullet points, and everything that you type from then on will become a bullet, and you can get rid of everything and just go to that first line and type in research that you know. When water evaporates, it leaves out all other substances. That's pretty important for the question that I asked. Okay, so I'm going to put in lots of background information. After I have my background information, as you should know, now I'm ready to make a hypothesis. And this hypothesis is going to tell my prediction of the results and the reason why I think that. Okay? Over here, You can do a lot of things. You could get rid of it. You could put another fun fact that relates to your background information, or you could make this into your materials list. If you choose to say, oh yeah, this would be a good spot to make my materials list easy to read, I would agree with you. My only recommendation would be to make sure that you have a large title there that says materials so they know that this is an important thing. So, I would come over here and I would choose numbered bullet points because, again, you're supposed to have a numbered list with materials. And so you would say 5 liters of water because you have to be very precise with your materials list. Once you have your materials list finished and all filled out, you'll see how much of your text box space you took up, and then you'll be able to easily come in and insert another text box right on top of it so that you can make a title for that section. And so that would be easy. The easiest way to go about doing that. There are many ways that you could do it, but that's just one that's very easy. Okay, so you could come over here and put your text box right on top of the other one and make your materials. So if you are a person who says, well, okay, great, but I don't know, I want it to match other things, I like my headings to match as well. So you can come over and see what your other headings look like, and you can just copy and paste them into that text box you just created. And then once you've pasted and it's still highlighted, or you highlight it again after it did, you just type the word materials and now it will be in that size and font. And it's an easy way to change yet keep the same without having to constantly switch your font around. So that is just one method to do that task. So as you can see, I now have my materials list. As you know, after materials, you need to go ahead and make sure you have your procedures, and you need to have a data table. Those are the things I expect you to have before Wednesday. So materials, procedures, and data table. So if you're wondering, okay, where do I put my procedures? Again, if I were you, you might just want to come copy and paste background information, put that right below your hypothesis, and change it now to procedures, okay? And you're saying, well, procedures are supposed to be a numbered list, Mrs. Mick. That is correct. They are supposed to be a numbered list. I absolutely love that you remembered that. And so I'll click on the numbers, and it'll instantly change my bullet points to numbered lists for me, and that will make me happy. Again, to insert a data table, in case you're wondering how to do that, obviously you don't need this image here. Can you include an image to make your procedures more clear? By all means. I would love for you to do that. But to get rid of these other images, you just click and press, click to highlight the whole image and then press delete and they'll go away. And then if you want to insert a data table, again, you go to insert and you go to table, and you have to, if you have your data table sketched ahead of time, that's always helpful, but you can insert your table as long or wide as you need. And if you need to merge your cells within your data table, it's just like on Word. So you highlight it all, you can right click, and you can say merge cells. And so there are so many options to revising your data table so that it looks the way that you want. So make sure that you title your data table so you have an easy spot to record your data when we complete this lab in class. Your expectations are to have a title with your name, observation, question, background research, hypothesis, materials, procedures, and data table. No matter what you finish by the end of this class period, though, I need you to save it to both your computer, but more importantly, your flash drive. And then once you've saved it to your flash drive, I need you to turn it in on this Edmodo assignment. Thank you very much, good luck, and I look forward to seeing what you create. You are allowed to be creative and change font, styles, sizes, colors, pictures, all of those things if and only if you finish everything else early. Good luck.